Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to Moneycontrol's live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Lovisha, Darad, and joining my colleague Yatin, Mota. Well, Yatin, once again we are walking the day with the green. Nifty is now up for the 7th consecutive day. 25,000, those are the levels that we have reclaimed, but it was a quiet trading session throughout the day. Sensex were settled with about a flat to positive bias, and even broader end of the markets. That also ended the day very flat in the green itself. But yes, sector-wise, it was the day of financials. Bank Nifty up about 0.2%, and PSU banks, that clearly stole the spotlight in today's trading session. However, Nifty IT index, which was gaining from the past 2 days, snapped their streak and ended with about 0.5% cut itself. On the other hand, if you look at the Nifty Auto Index, that also continued its losing streak, extending losses to about the 4th straight day, down with the 0.3% cut. Other than that, consumer durable stocks, that also took a backseat. Apart from this, capital market stocks took a beating today also. The likes of Angel One, BSC shares down after sources told CNBC TV 18 that SEBI is planning to float a consultation paper within next month to consider ending weekly F&O contracts and go for longer term derivatives. They plan to transition to monthly expiries and is also considering same-day expiries across exchanges as well. So on the back of that, we did see Nifty Capital Market Index down by more than 1.5%. Yet then all in all, a very quiet session. Stock-specific action today also, but Nifty still up 1% so far this week already.
Yes, 1% up, and today we had a lot of stock-specific action. Since the morning also, we saw stock-specific action. Aurobindo Pharma, that stock moved 6% higher in trade. Vari Energies, that stock continues the dream run. In fact, if you look at the performance this week, on a 1 week basis, that stock is up nearly 20%. We also had Newland Labs, Jupiter Wagons moving on news. BSC Limited and Angel One, after the CNBC TV 18 report, suggested that the regulator might float a discussion paper to discontinue weekly options, and both of these stocks were under pressure. Talking about Ambuja Cement, that saw some block deals happen in trade worth nearly 1,000 crores. So that stock was under pressure, and GMR Airports also saw several block deals, post which the stock went from 2% minus to 2% plus. So yes, several deals in the trading session today with stock specific action continuing.
That's right. Now let's take a look at some of the top Nifty gainers and losers too, how they fared. If you look at the gainers list, Adani Enterprises did well in today's trading session, up for the 5th consecutive session with about nearly 3% gains. Shriram Finance also up about for the 2nd consecutive day, nearly 2.5% gains coming in there for the counter. NTPC 1.8% gains coming in after the HSBC's upgrade. We'll discuss the stock later in detail. Axis Bank, Eternal, all of them seeing gains of more than 1% itself in today's trading session. However, on the way down, if you look at auto stocks, once again took a beating, taken a back seat in today's trading session. The likes of Bajaj Auto, Eicher Mota seeing a cut of about 1% each. SBI Life, Titan were the other losers on the Nifty 50, and of course Infosys also with about 1% cut coming in ahead of its share buyback proposal itself. But yes, broader end of the markets, once again a very quiet session for them as well. Mid cap and small cap indices ended the day with about a flattish tone. Yatin, what are we gathering from this end of the markets?
Yeah. Yes, so the broader markets, we have stocks specific action again seen here. So we had BHEL, that stock moved 4% in trade. We also had NHPC and Hindustan Zinc, all of these PSU stocks moving in trade. NLC India, GAIL after the Nomura report moved 3%. We'll talk about this stock in detail. So these are stocks which moved in trade. When it comes to Fluorochem, there was a blast in the factory post with the stock fell 3% in trade. Stocks like GRSC, Ola Electric, Sona Comstar, which moved last week, have been witnessing some pressure over the last 1 or 2 trading sessions. Both of these stocks were down 2% each.
That's right. But let's quickly take a look at some of the stocks that did grab limelight in today's trading session. We'll first talk about TCS. There was an interesting report that came in from CLSA, wherein they believe that Infosys share buyback plans can prompt TCS to also consider one, given that how investor confidence has been quite low for the IT stocks amid the sluggish macro environment. What they've said that typically TCS last 5 years, 5 years of share buybacks have provided a technical support to the stock, and analysts believe that the company should opt for a tender offer style buyback route of about 20,000 crore rupees to instill enthusiasm in the stock as well. So a buyback is what they should consider instead of paying dividend for the third quarter of FY26 itself. The brokerage maintained an outperform rating on the counter, and they've shared a target price of 42.79 rupees. That believes another 30% upside is what they forecast at this point of time. What also made them bullish was the counter's attractive valuations after the underperformance that TCS has seen, positive narratives around share buybacks, US Fed rate cuts and global AI spending, and the resolution of the US-India trade war, which could also lead to the stock's re-rating going ahead itself. Yatin, now that the Infosys has announced the buyback plans itself, brokerages are suggesting ways that, how more enthusiasm and confidence can be built in an underperforming tech sector, because a large market still hinges on a good performance of this sector.
Yes, and most importantly, Infosys' buyback, which is probably the outcome of the board meeting will come in few minutes from now, puts pressure on other IT companies because, Wipro and TCS, they have also done buybacks, which were almost 2-3 years back. So it's not that recently they have concluded any buyback, and they have healthy cash on the balance sheet. So yes, all of these stocks now eligible for a buyback, and obviously investors also would be requesting the management for such initiatives.
All right. Now, let's move on and take another stock in focus. That is your NTPC. Like I was talking about earlier, HSBC's upgrade came in for the counter, 1.5% gains. That is where the stock has been, and one of the top Nifty gainers as well. Now, what HSBC has done is that they've raised its rating on the counter from buy from a hold, and they have raised the target price to about 400 rupees from 385 earlier itself. What HSBC has said that the company is now on the forefront of power generation in India, and there are some emerging opportunities in battery storage and nuclear energy, which also bodes well for the counter. They've also highlighted the fact that the company's recent underperformance was largely due to slower power demand and some execution delays, which they believe that these headwinds are likely to reverse from here on, as they believe that the power demand growth is expected to improve from the FY25's low base, and execution challenges are expected to ease since 2 thermal plants of 1.3 gigawatts are already commissioned, and it gives a big booster to the NTPC's growth story as well. They've also mentioned that a portion of NTPC's planned capex of about 7 lakh crore rupees through 2032 will come under regulated tariff mechanism, and that will eventually provide good visibility in terms of return growth as well. Yatin, a good brokerage note coming in for the counter, given the stock has been underperforming so far this year and from 1 year perspective also.
Yes, and valuation-wise also things are looking well. The only problem with NTPC is that the power demand in India, because of a mild summer and excess rainfall, it has led to a decline. So the overall interest in the power sector has been slightly lower than earlier. But yes, NTPC with its subsidiary, NTPC Green is doing well. A lot of thermal power capacity, nuclear projects are also something which NTPC has spoken about. So yes, a lot of growth avenues when it comes to the shares of NTPC. But Lovisha, since you're talking about PSUs, another PSU in focus today was GAIL. And this month probably there will be a PNGRB meeting, which is the gas regulator, for probably hiking the tariff for GAIL's pipeline infrastructure. Probably the kind of gain that we can see for GAIL should be quite strong according to Nomura, and they have a buy call on the counter with a target of 225. Now talking about GAIL, the indicated tariffs could get hiked by nearly 20% according to their expectations, and if the company's expectations are seen, that are nearly for a 33% hike. But even if they get a 20% hike, Nomura believe that there could be a significant re-rating for the share price. In fact, they also believe that the petrochemical business will start turning around, showing results FY27 onwards. So, GAIL, that stock clearly 2-3% move coming in for trade today, and one of the top gaining PSUs on the back of this brokerage report.
That's right. This is a stock we need to watch out for in the upcoming sessions as well. But from that, let's move on to the next stock in focus. That is your Bajaj Finance. The stock was now up for the 12th consecutive session, and in just 2 weeks, this heavyweight stock is already up about 11% itself. Now, what's driving the rally is that there is certain upbeat enthusiasm and expectation of higher credit growth after the GST rationalization measure. Given that the new reforms are touted best for the consumption sector, and the demand trends are expected to improve, which is aided by the tax relief. And given that Bajaj Finance is also one of the well-diversified NBFC and the largest consumer durables lender, more loans are expected to be going out, and given that consumption is expected to improve from here on itself. Furthermore, brokerages have also remained quite positive on the counter. If you look at JM Financial, they maintained their buy call on the counter and shared a target price of about 1,060 rupees, seeing another 10% upside from the current levels itself. What they also believe is that the pressure on yields are expected to be offset by a decline in their cost of funds, and credit cost is expected to moderate from FY25 levels itself. So, Yatin, Bajaj Finance, good moves coming in for this heavyweight counter, given that GST is expected to bring some relief to the consumer durable sector, and it is one of the key portfolio for the lender.
Absolutely, and when it comes to white goods, two-wheelers, Bajaj Finance does have a large presence there, and obviously once you buy goods, you also need financing, in which Bajaj Finance obviously turns out to be a proxy play.
That's right. Right, that's all the stocks we've had so far. It's a good week so far as of now. Nifty is up about 1% like we were talking about. But tonight we'll be also watching out for the US inflation print for the month of August, and that'll shape Fed's policy path next week itself. Tomorrow we also be having the big SEBI board meeting, where officials are likely to consider relaxing minimum IPO requirements for very large companies, extending timeline for them to meet the public shareholding norms, and a whole host of measures that we'll be tracking and watching out for itself. But yes, let me introduce you to Moneycontrol's Super Pro, which can be your ultimate investment superpower. You can get all the live trading calls and investment ideas from SEBI registered experts, pre-identified chart patterns and AI-powered stock alerts on WhatsApp to help you trade and invest with confidence itself. So download the Moneycontrol app and subscribe to Super Pro today itself. All right, with that, we have come to an end of this edition of Closing Bell. It's a wrap from Yatin and me. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with markets tomorrow.